Hey guys, just want to share this real automation I built for my client, an Etsy shop owner with over 1,000 active listings. This is not your average Etsy to Pinterest automation. Most tutorials show you a basic setup built for a shop with maybe 50 listing or more. So this one built for an Etsy shop on a high scale wanting over 1,000 active listing or more. At that scale, manual pinning isn't just tiresome. It's impossible, and one wrong click means duplicate pins or a product that never gets posted at all. So I built this to run on its own, match every listing to the right board, pin it, and remember exactly what's already done, so nothing repeats. So let me go ahead and show to you how it works live right now. Alright, so before we get started, so before I break down every module, let me show to you how this workflow works. Okay, so we're gonna have a 3 quick test. Test 1, a clean run, just to show how this workflow works on the very first run. Test 2, to show the dedup check features to avoid duplicate pins. Test 3, let's make it fail on purpose, just to check the error handling features of this workflow. So let me go ahead and check first my Pinterest account. Let me make sure that there's no existing board matching with the name of my test Etsy shop. Alright, so yep, there's no existing board. Here's the section or category name of my test Etsy shop. So I think we're good to run this workflow now. Let me go ahead and click on run once. Okay, good. It's finished. Let's go ahead and check let me go ahead and check my Pinterest account. Alright, good. It's created the board, to board name here that matches with my Etsy section or category name. Listing has been successfully pinned. Let's go ahead and check the other board. Okay, good. Listing has been successfully pinned as well. Alright, so these two listing has been successfully logged on this database. Since as we pull up this Etsy listing module, we limit this to grab 2 listing only, and this 2 listing has been successfully pinned and logged or successfully record under this database. So if you'd like to check, just go to the left navigational panel, click on data store. Let's go ahead and check those listing ID. Alright, so here's the listing ID, the 2 listing that has been successfully pinned and has been successfully tagged as pinned, as under status. So right now, test 2, we're gonna check the dedup check features of this workflow. So under this Etsy module, we're gonna leave it as it is, 2 listing to pull up the same listing that has been successfully pinned. Alright, let me go ahead and click on run once. Alright, good. It's finished. Let's go ahead and check the Pinterest account so we can check if there's an existing or if there's a new pin. Okay, same listing. Right. So yeah, same listing as before. So nothing new got posted, no duplicate pin, no error. The workflow then go through since this dedup check detects the same listing ID that has been already pinned from the first test that we run earlier. Alright, so let's run the test 3. Let's make it fail on purpose, just for us to be able to check the error handling features of this workflow. So I'll go ahead and erase this variable. Save. Then let's run the workflow once again. Let's check here. Right, no. I'm sorry. It actually, still pulling up the same 2 listings. So we actually need to add another 2 listings. So let's have it like add 2 listing once again, or let's set it to 4 listing to pull up. We can save and make sure. Let me just go ahead and refresh my inbox. Then let's go ahead and run the workflow once again. Alright, good. So yep, as you can see here, it goes to the error handler module, the Gmail. Let's go ahead and check. Let me go ahead and refresh this one. Alright, good. So yep, this one. Okay. So in this case, Pinterest reject the request. No crash, no silent failure, an email lands straight in the inbox with the listing ID, the title, which exact module failed, and the actual error message. Alright. So let me go ahead and explain to you module by module. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with this first module, the Pinterest list board. So every run starts the same way, one step feeding into the next. So first, this module grabs the Pinterest board that are already on your account. So I have currently set up to 100, so it means to say it can grab or pull up at least 100 boards from my account. Right after that, Aggregator module, this one, it collects all those board into one clean list of board names and ID. So think of this as the automation building its own map before it does anything else. So later on, it can check does the board for this category already exist in one step instead of searching every time. So after that map has been built, it will move on to pull the Etsy listing active ones. It will sort to the newest listing first with the Etsy module. Okay, this one, but actually it should be descending. So that order matter. It needs to know what boards already exist before it starts deciding where each listing should go. Alright, so let's move on to the next module, which is the search record data store, the dedup check. This is the most important part. Okay. So yep, this is actually this module. This is a duplicate prevention features. This is exactly what you saw in a test run 2 a few minutes ago. So before this automation pin anything, it searched the data store using the Etsy listing ID. This one. Alright. That data store is basically a small database sitting inside make.com that remembers every listing that has been already pinned. Alright. So then next is the router. It split the path into 2 lanes. So lane 1. So lane 1 already pinned. The listing ID was not found. It will skip the listing since it's already been here on data store. In lane 2, new listing, the listing ID was not found, so it moves forward to actually creating the pin. Okay, this single check is what stopped the automation from spamming the same product onto Pinterest every single day. Alright, so let's move on to the next module. Okay, so for every new listing, the automation reads its Etsy category and converts it into a clean category name using the switch statement. So instead of some internal Etsy code, using this switch statement as well. Okay, so this module checks the label against the board list that we pulled up earlier. This one, the match board ID. Actually, yep, all the listing that has been pulled up here from the first module. And then we have here the router. So if the board with the name already exists, board name already exists, it grabs that board ID. If it doesn't exist yet, the automation branches into two separate paths with the router module. Okay, so if the ID already exists on the Pinterest account, is it either goes to this branch, find the board ID. If it doesn't find the board ID, or if the board is not actually created yet, it will go to this branch. Then it will create the board. Then the next module would be final board ID. It will get the new ID actually from the new board that has been created using this module. And then pin description. Okay. Right, so this pin description is actually, it will allow you to trim your description cap to 500 characters. Same as the pin title trim, it will cap your title up to 100 characters. Let me show it to you. Alright, so yep, this one. And then you can see the value. So Pinterest has strict limit on how long a pin title and description can be. My client Etsy titles are usually packed with keywords for SEO, which means they easily run past 100 characters. And Pinterest will just reject the pin outright if you send it something, if you send it something too long. That's how this two module works. It trims those description and trim the titles so that Pinterest would not reject the pin. And finally, it will create the pin. All right, using this module. Okay, this one will grab the image URL, the main photo of your listing, final board ID, pin title, description that has been trimmed, same as this here. It's getting the title from here, then same as with the description. Okay, and finally, right after the pin goes live, the automation writes a record back into the data store. Listing ID, the new Pinterest pin ID, category, timestamp, and status to pin. Alright, so this is what makes the dedup check at the start actually work. Every pin that goes out gets logged immediately, so the next time the scenario runs, it already knows not to touch that listing again. This is exactly the records that got created during test earlier. Okay, and it's what test 2 check against. Right, so yep, this is how this workflow works. Okay, all right, so just a quick recap. Alright, so let's start with the Pinterest list board. It grabs the Pinterest board list, the aggregator, collects all those boards into one clean list of board names and ID. The Etsy listing list, it grabs the newest active Etsy listing, Aggregator plus pin image URL, pulls the primary listing photo for each listing, search record, this one. This is the dedup check, looks up the listing ID in the data store to see if it's already been pinned. Alright, router, new listing, it skip duplicates, send new listing forward if the listing ID is not yet stored on this module or database. Then category switch plus match board ID maps the Etsy category to an existing Pinterest board. Alright, then if the board is already existed or created on your Pinterest account, it will grab those ID and goes on this path using this router. If the board doesn't exist yet, it goes to this path and it will create the pin. Then once the board has been created, it will get the final board ID of this new created board, cap or trim the description, same as trim the title, then create a pin. Finally, it will create a pin. Then the last module, the add records, it logs the pin back to the data store so it never repeated. And then error handling, email, it's a Gmail module, so it sends an alert on a failure, pin creation failure, skip the listing logging failure, and then it will retry 3 times every 15 minutes. Alright. Okay, so this is just a short demo of this workflow, how this workflow works. Okay, alright, so why this workflow matter for a client running a real shop? If you're running an Etsy shop with the big catalog, this isn't just a connect Etsy, connect Pinterest, create pin. Here's what you got. It has the first, duplicate protection. Second, automatic board creation and matching. Third is title and description trimming. Fourth is full error alerting with skip logic. And final one, the fifth one, auto retry on the logging steps. Alright, so this build to run unattended on a shop with more than 1,000 live listing on Etsy. Alright, so if you run an Etsy shop with a big catalog and you're tired of pinning manually, or you're an automation builder who wants a system like this to build for a client, drop a comment. I build automation like this for a shop that actually wants to scale. If this helped you understand how a real production automation is put together, hit subscribe. I break down builds like this in the coming days or weeks. Peace.